I'm Brooks Compton, Mayor of the City of Centerville. We just completed our 13th meeting on July 18, 2016, and this is just a summary of a rehash of our meeting. The meeting was called to order at approximately 7:30, and the invocation was given by Barb Hancock from the Baha'i Faith. And we were fortunate enough to have this evening the Girl Scout Troop 34506 made the flag presentation and led us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We had an opportunity to meet all of the young ladies, and they told us a little bit about their Girl Scout troop. We had no council members who were absent this evening, and we approved our minutes from previous council meetings from June 20 and July 11, and those were approved unanimously. We had an opportunity in communications to talk with Chief Robertson, and Chief Robertson told us a little bit about the police department and the reaction of positive feelings that have been brought forward to the police department over the course of the last couple of weeks, and he was very appreciative of that. We all had an opportunity to thank the chief for what a great police department we have, and also the local dispatch, which he has organized and trains for service to the Centerville residents. So we're very appreciative of our police chief, and he gave a nice presentation this evening. We had an Eagle Scout Award. David Zimmer was presented Eagle Scout, and we also had a recognition for Sean Dwyer, who is a 2016 World Championship Irish Dance Competition winner, and he had a very nice presentation this evening. Feed Ohio, we had a proclamation for Feed Ohio, and Jennifer Zimmerman was not able to be here this evening, but she had a representative here from Feed Ohio who gave a nice presentation about what Feed Ohio does. This evening we also recognize Jim Briggs from the Planning Commission. Jim has been on Planning Commission for 16 years. He's done a great job over those years. He's been involved in many developments, Cornerstone, the downtown redevelopment, a number of projects throughout the community. Different aspects of Yankee Trace through his involvement have been really done very good projects with Jim Briggs over the years, and we're sorry to see him go as a Planning Commission member, but we really appreciate all his service over the years.Mrs. Jan Prettyman, who is the chair of the Centerville City Beautiful Commission, she awarded the Centerville Community Pride Award to Skyline Chili, just south of the building here on 945 South Main Street. And that award was given to Aaron Fanning, and he had the general manager there this evening at our meeting to accept the award. And we really appreciate what a good work they do over the course of really modifying their building and keeping it very well maintained.Then also, Mrs. Prettyman also recognized the Centerville City Beautiful Commission Summer Landscape Award winners for 2016, and you can see those on the city website. Paula Wildenhouse, Wayne and Judy Schuler, John and Nancy Carter, Pat Bethel, Carol Hamilton, and Ted and Jan Frederick, along with Andrew and Christy Harmon, all were the Summer Landscape Award winners for the City Beautiful Commission. And their pictures and their landscape will be on the city website. So if you get a chance to take a look at that, that'd be great. Tonight we had from the Washington Centerville Library, Kim Ferris made a presentation about what activities are going on in the library during the summer, in addition to their expansion plans. And Kim has been very instrumental at providing unique projects and programs at the library, so we're very pleased that she was able to spend about 10 minutes with us this evening talking about some of the things that she's done, the improvements that have been made, and also the big renovation of the Woodburn Library, which will take place in 2017. So we're all looking forward to that, and really appreciated Kim taking the time to be at our meeting tonight to update us about the Washington Centerville Library. Had a brief mayor's report. Talked a little bit about Americana, the Public Works Department, the Police Department, city staff, Marine Russell Hodson, all the work they do associated with Americana, that we simply would not be able to do it without their participation. And I know the police put in a lot of time over that weekend, the July 4th weekend. Really appreciate all they do, along with Public Works. And Americana Festival does a great job, and Maureen Russell Hodson, who is our volunteer coordinator, does a great job at working through that over the course of the holiday, and it would not be possible without her and the others that participate. So we thanked all of them this evening. We had also just a recognition of our summer concert series going on. We also talked a little bit about the fact that we had an opportunity to talk with Chief Gall from the fire department last week. We expressed a little bit of our disappointment about about the fire and EMS dispatch going to regional dispatch. We're hoping that might have some consideration for locating that within the City of Centerville dispatch, which also does fire and EMS dispatch for West Carrollton, in addition to the police dispatch for the City of Centerville and also West Carrollton. And we've been very pleased, as has West Carrollton, with our local dispatch and consider that a very significant part of the community service as far as safety services. Then we had the report of the Planning Commission, and we did have an opportunity this evening to hear an appeal. The appeal took approximately about an hour, and there was an appeal of the decision of the Planning Commission that denied a variance request for an additional 4 feet of height on a beacon feature or an illuminated panel feature at Home 2 Suites Hotel. That item had a lot of discussion, presentation by individuals for the public hearing, and ultimately the decision of council was to approve the variance, allowing the additional 4 feet of height for the illuminated panel feature at the Home 2 Suites Hotel in the Cornerstone development. The council did vote on that after a lot of discussion, and the vote was 5-2 to approve the variance, so it was approved. Then we also had another public hearing for an amendment to a final development plan up at Bethany Lutheran Village. And Mr. Sayre, Councilman Sayre, recused himself at this time because he might have had a perceived conflict of interest, as he is the executive director of Graceworks. That item was discussed, a presentation was made by Mr. Rodney, and the council did approve that amendment to the final development plan for Bethany Lutheran Village in a unanimous vote of 7-0. There were a couple of other items that were set up for report under the Planning Commission dealing with the Randall Residence and Sheehan Road and also the Woodland Greens at Yankee Trace. Both of those items were removed from the agenda, and they'll be back on the agenda at a later time. Mr. Beals gave a report on a standing committee report for the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission, and there were no other standing committee reports this evening. We did have the consent agenda. The consent agenda had 6 items planned for it. 4 of those items were removed at the request of council for further discussion, and those items all dealt with the Unified Development Ordinance and will be brought up at a later date. The 2 items on the consent agenda was 1, to approve Susan Jesse as a member of the City Beautiful Commission, and of course that was approved unanimously, along with a resolution to get rid of some property or specific personal property that is no longer utilized by the city and take care of that as surplus property, and that also was approved in the consent agenda. We had 2 items under old business. One was an ordinance determining to proceed with construction and installation of public roadways in the Yankee Trace Grove area, the Grove at Yankee Trace, and that item had been tabled from our meeting in June. And we did remove that from the table and retabled it because it's not ready to go forward yet. So it was retabled for a public hearing until August 15, 2016. And our last public hearing under old business was related to the special assessment financing for the Cornerstone development, Phase 3, and that was the final item to address ultimately approving the special assessment financing and allowing it to go forward, and the construction to go forward, allowing the contract to be entered into, and the requirements had been met by Cornerstone developers to go forward on that item. So that matter was approved unanimously by council, allowing Cornerstone to proceed and the money to be deposited with the city for payment of that particular expense. We did have citizen comments, a couple citizens' comments this evening. There was no additional new business, and the meeting was adjourned at 11:08. So if you have an opportunity to watch the entire meeting, there was a lot of interesting discussion during the course of the appeal and a lot of very interesting community items at the beginning of our meeting. So I appreciate you for watching. You can see the entire meeting or the summary on mvcc.net, or you can connect with this particular item on the City of Centerville website, or you can call the City of Centerville at 433-7151. As all council members and the mayor and city manager all welcome any comments that you have or concerns, and we'd like to hear them if you do have any. So thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you at our meeting on August 15 in the summary of that meeting. Thank you very much.